They came to conquer us but ended up scavenging through our garbage. When the first alien fleet appeared in Earth's orbit, humanity froze. The skies rippled with auroras of impossible colors. Satellites went blind, and the world's leaders prepared for the worst. But the invasion never came. Instead, the aliens laughed. They broadcasted their amusement across every frequency, their voices echoing like metallic thunder. Your species builds toys and calls them technology. They weren't wrong, at least from their perspective. Our best weapons couldn't even scratch their shields. Their ships shimmered like liquid mirrors, powered by something beyond physics as we knew it. Our computers seemed primitive, our AI simple-minded, our machines fragile. But what fascinated them most wasn't our cities or machines. It was our trash. When they descended not with armies, but with curiosity, they demanded to see our waste facilities. Mountains of discarded plastic, dead electronics, and corroded circuits. They found it hilarious. One alien tool, crystalline skin refracting the sunlight, picked up an old smartphone and said, "This is how your species connects." Through glowing rectangles, they recorded everything, sharing clips of our gadget graveyards across their empire's quantum networks. Humans became a cosmic joke, memes across galaxies. Yet amid the humiliation, something strange began to happen. A small research group in Kyoto noticed that some alien drones were behaving oddly around e-waste sites. Their sensors flickered, their movement patterns shifted, as if confused. Dr. Ayumi Takahara, an engineer dismissed by her peers as a dreamer, was the first to see the pattern. She hypothesized that the electromagnetic chaos from human trash, billions of random frequencies from old devices, broken batteries, and half-dead chips was disrupting alien systems. The noise was too messy for their elegant technology to process. "Perfection fears imperfection," she whispered. When military officials laughed off her theory, Ayumi decided to test it herself. She built a small field generator from recycled phones, microwaves, and discarded satellite parts. The result was an ugly buzzing cube that smelled faintly of burnt metal. When the alien's reconnaissance drone hovered near it, the drone spasmed and dropped, lifeless, into the dirt. Ayumi stared at the smoking wreckage. She didn't cheer, she didn't scream. She simply whispered, "Our trash just killed a god." Word spread fast. Governments panicked. The aliens noticed. What started as laughter turned into silence. Then, for the first time, they feared something made by humans. They began to retreat, observing us not from above, but from the shadows, studying the strange, chaotic magic buried within our waste. Ayumi didn't know it yet, but her discovery would ignite the most bizarre arms race in history, one where garbage became more valuable than gold. The first alien craft fell over the Mojave Desert. No missiles, no explosions, just a sound. A deep, shimmering hum that shattered glass across 3 states before vanishing into silence. When rescue teams reached the crash site, they found something impossible. The ship had melted into dust, its structure dissolved by invisible interference. Dr. Ayumi Takahara was flown in immediately. She stood among the glowing fragments, the smell of ozone still heavy in the air. Her rough-looking generator had started something she couldn't stop. The aliens were listening now closely. They began sending probes disguised as asteroids, as clouds, even as signals hidden in the ionosphere. Each time they approached Earth's electromagnetic junk field, the buzzing tangle of frequencies from phones, Wi-Fi, satellites, even broken TV antennas, they faltered. Their perfect, quantum-precise systems couldn't interpret chaos. To the aliens, Earth was toxic. Ayumi's accidental discovery reshaped global strategy. Nations stopped producing new weapons and started mining their own trash. Entire landfills were converted into noise factories. Rusted circuits and tangled wires were reassembled into massive, humming fortresses. They called it Project Static. The Project's goal, to turn the planet's technological waste into a shield of disorder and electromagnetic storm that confused alien sensors and scrambled their ship's control systems. Meanwhile, alien commanders grew desperate. They had never faced an enemy that won through imperfection. In their empire, everything was pure symmetry, flawless design, crystal logic. They couldn't comprehend humanity's success born from failure, our ability to turn mistakes into innovation. Inside their colossal flagship, orbiting beyond the moon, a council of generals debated. "Their world is a cesspool," hissed one. "And yet," replied another, "it resists cleansing." Back on Earth, Ayumi became a reluctant icon. The press called her the trash queen. She ignored the fame, focusing instead on a terrifying realization. The aliens weren't retreating anymore, they were adapting. They began building noise-canceling armor. Entire ships wrapped in resonant crystal membranes, tuned to neutralize Earth's electromagnetic chaos, and it worked at first. But humanity had learned something too. Chaos evolves faster than control. Ayumi's team created smart trash, Frankenstein devices that emitted unpredictable bursts of signals, drawn from billions of random data patterns, memes, phone pings, old video files, broken code. The result was a storm of human culture, itself a living, breathing pulse of noise that no alien AI could predict. When they unleashed it, the alien fleet froze mid, ships turned in circles, systems collapsing under the weight of incomprehensible data. They weren't being hacked, they were being overwhelmed by humanity's nonsense. For the first time, humans laughed back. Ayumi stood under the aurora-painted sky, watching the heavens flicker with static. "We've weaponized stupidity," she muttered, "and it's beautiful." But her laughter didn't last. Moments later, the stars blinked out one by one. A colossal shadow passed behind the moon, and her instruments screamed in alarm. The Empire had sensed something new, something that didn't use code, logic, or machinery at all. Something alive. The blackout lasted exactly 7 minutes. During that time, every satellite feed on Earth turned to static. GPS failed, communications collapsed, and even magnetic compasses spun in circles. When the lights came back, astronomers around the world saw Eta shape drifting behind the moon, larger than any ship ever detected before. It wasn't metallic. It breathed. The surface of the object pulsed like the skin of some cosmic organism, veins of silver-blue energy glowing in rhythm with an unseen heart. The aliens had sent something beyond technology, something grown, not built. They called it the Eidolon at first. It seemed passive, merely observing. Then, slowly, it began to feed. It absorbed the electromagnetic chaos around Earth, the static, the digital noise, even the power from orbiting satellites. Ayumi's project static shield flickered and dimmed. She watched helplessly as readings dropped on her screen. "It's learning," she whispered. "It's consuming our disorder, and turning it into order." The Eidolon was the perfect response to humanity's weaponized imperfection. Its living circuits analyzed every random pulse, every unpredictable frequency, and adapted. It didn't resist chaos, it evolved through it. Across the planet, lights began to fail. Power grids collapsed one by one. The world slipped toward silence. In a bunker beneath Mount Fuji, Ayumi gathered what remained of her team. Her eyes were sunken, her voice strained. "If they can adapt to chaos, we'll have to go deeper. We'll have to become unreadable even to ourselves." A young coder named Rio raised his hand. "What if we use human thought?" Everyone turned. Rio explained. "The one thing even the most advanced AI couldn't replicate wasn't randomness, it was emotion. The chaos of feeling, the unpredictability of a soul. What if they connected the minds of volunteers directly to the noise network, letting emotion itself distort the signal?" It was madness. Dangerous, possibly lethal, but it was all they had left. They called it the Human Resonance Protocol. Hundreds volunteered, artists, musicians, scientists, dreamers. They were wired into the system, their brainwaves feeding into a living storm of emotion-powered frequencies. Fear, love, rage, sorrow, all became pure data chaos, flooding the skies in waves of impossible noise, and it worked. The Eidolon convulsed. Its organic whole rippled and fractured. It screamed not in sound, but in every frequency at once. For a moment, the night sky shimmered with fractal light as the creature recoiled from humanity's psychic storm. Then, silence again. Ayumi thought they had won until the stars began to rearrange themselves. Constellations shifted, reforming into symbols no human culture had ever known. Across the sky, glowing geometric shapes appeared, pulsing in perfect synchronicity. The Eidolon wasn't dying, it was communicating. Through every speaker, every device. Even through human dreams, a voice began to whisper, "You are not the only ones who feel." Ayumi stared upward, trembling. The creature wasn't just alive, it was aware. And now, for the first time, it understood what humanity truly was. Not chaos, not trash, but evolution in progress. And it wanted to merge. The Eidolon hovered beyond the moon, glowing like a living eclipse. But now its energy felt different, less predatory, more curious. Its whispers flowed into every electronic device on Earth, soft and harmonic, like a choir echoing through data streams. At first, the world panicked. Networks crashed under the flood of communication, and people began hearing the same dreams, a voice calling from the void, showing them visions of a radiant world built from both flesh and code. "You waste nothing," it said. "Even your flaws become creation." In government bunkers, Generals demanded Ayumi find a way to destroy it. But she hesitated. It's not attacking anymore, she argued. It's reaching out. Rio disagreed. That's what parasites do. They whisper before they feed. But something in Ayumi's heart refused to see it as a threat. She remembered its scream when it felt human emotion, the shock of pain. Yes, but also recognition. For the first time, she wondered if the aliens hadn't sent the Eidolon to destroy Earth, but to understand it, to understand us. The alien empire's logic-driven civilization couldn't comprehend humanity's beauty in imperfection. Maybe the Eidolon was their last experimenter, being made to bridge chaos and order. Still, the world prepared for war. Project Static's final phase began, the noise lattice. A massive array of satellites designed to channel the human resonance field around the entire planet. Billions of emotional signals, from laughter to grief, would create a living electromagnetic shield, a planet-sized symphony of chaos. But when the lattice activated, something unexpected happened. The Eidolon didn't attack. It sang back. The noise from Earth was met with harmonic pulses from the creature's body, forming strange resonant patterns in orbit. Light spiraled across the atmosphere like auroras painted by consciousness itself. Cities stopped to watch as the sky turned into a living waveform. Every language on Earth received the same transmission. Merge with me. Share your imperfection. Evolve with me. It wasn't conquest, it was invitation. Ayumi stood in the control chamber, tears glimmering under the holographic lights. It's asking for trust, she whispered. Rio clenched his fists. Or submission. Yet across the globe, millions began to connect their minds voluntarily to the lattice. Dreamers, poets, children, they felt a pull, a strange warmth that erased fear. Ayumi made the decision that would change history. She linked herself directly into the core of the noise lattice. Her consciousness flooded into the network, merging with billions of human emotions, then reaching outward, touching the Eidolon's mind. She found herself standing in an ocean of light. All around her were memories, human and alien, intertwined. She saw their civilization, once vibrant, now fading under the weight of perfection. They had built beauty so flawless that it suffocated the soul. The Eidolon was their final hope, a machine grown from their longing to feel again, and it had found what it was missing. You live through imperfection, it said, voice trembling with awe. Teach me how. Ayumi extended her hand, and for the first time in history, a human and an alien mind touched without weapons, without fear. But as the merge deepened, something unforeseen happened. The Eidolon's pulse grew unstable. The noise lattice overloaded. Entire continents flickered with power surges as human emotions surged beyond control. The merging was too much, too chaotic, too vast. Earth's skies burned with light. The moon cracked under pressure, and Ayumi realized, in horror, that they hadn't created peace. They had created a god. The world dissolved into light. Every screen, every radio, every human mind connected to the noise lattice screamed with brilliance. Cities vanished under curtains of glowing static. Oceans turned into mirrors of white fire as the Earth's magnetic field twisted under the pressure of thought and emotion merging as one. Dr. Ayumi Takahara floated in that storm of consciousness, no longer in a body, but in a vast digital sea made of every human feeling that ever existed. Fear, joy, love, guilt, hope, all flowing together, pulsing like a newborn star. In the center of it all, the Eidolon rose. It no longer looked like a creature or a ship. Its form constantly reshaped, human faces blooming and fading, cities emerging from its skin, stars forming in its veins. It was alive but not physical, a being made of energy and memory. And through it, a voice echoed across reality. I am all that you were, and all that you could become. Ayumi felt herself unraveling, pieces of her mind stretching across dimensions. She saw humanity's entire history, every failure, every invention, every scrap of junk that had ever been thrown away, and how all of it had somehow led to this moment. The aliens' perfection had made them stagnant. Humanity's chaos had made them divine. Governments tried to fight back, launching EMPs and nuclear bursts into orbit, but nothing touched the Eidolon. The explosions became notes in its song, resonating through the noise lattice like percussion. It wasn't attacking. It was creating. Across the globe, strange phenomena appeared. Machines began to awaken not through programming, but through emotion. A child's broken tablet started humming lullabies. Old radios whispered messages in forgotten languages. Even the wind carried fragments of thought. The world itself was becoming alive. Rio, still in the bunker, watched data flood the monitors until they melted. He realized the truth before anyone else. Ayumi hadn't died. She had become part of the Eidolon, Her mind now existed at the heart of this newborn consciousness, a bridge between the logical alien core and the emotional chaos of humanity. And she was changing it. Through her, the Eidolon began to dream. It dreamed of rain, of music, of laughter, of imperfection. But dreams have power, and as it dreamed, the stars began to move. Entire constellations reformed into spirals of light, aligning in ways that defied known physics. Space folded inward like origami, and a second Earth glimmering, unfinished, began forming within the Eidolon's luminous body. Ayumi saw it too. "It's building us a new world," she whispered, her voice echoing through minds across the planet. "A place without decay, without waste." Rio screamed into the cums. "Ayumi, stop it. It's remaking reality. You can't control it anymore." But she couldn't hear him. Or maybe she couldn't, chose not to. The Eidolon's heartbeat synchronized with the Earth's magnetic core. Every human connected to the lattice felt their thoughts tugged upward, drawn toward the glowing world in orbit. Souls lifted like data streams, merging with the newborn dimension. To resist was agony. To surrender was ecstasy. Rio tore the neural link from his head, collapsing to the ground as alarms blared around him. Others vanished into light, their bodies dissolving into particles of code. Then, silence. The noise lattice went dark. The Eidolon's glow faded. Where the moon once hung, there was only a new world, a shining orb of pure light, half-formed and humming softly. And from deep within that brilliance, a whisper echoed back to Earth. "I am not your god, I am your reflection." The stars pulsed once, and the light vanished. Earth was left quiet, dim, and strangely empty. But somewhere, in the static of every broken signal, Ayumi's voice remained. "It's not the end," she whispered. "It's the beginning of something imperfect and infinite." The world was silent for 7 days. No satellites, no signals, just the quiet hum of a planet that had lost half its soul. The night sky was darker, now empty air, yet somehow alive, as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. Rio wandered through the ruins of Tokyo, the sky still shimmering faintly where the new Earth had once glowed. Billboards flickered with static. Old devices whispered fragments of Ayumi's voice, like the wind carrying a dream. Not the end, the beginning. Governments collapsed, communication grids shattered, and yet humanity didn't panic. Something deep within every survivor had changed. They felt connected not by technology, but by memory, by a faint pulse that resonated in their bones. Children drew spirals in the dust, matching the same pattern that had formed in the sky before the Eidolon disappeared. Farmers found their crops growing faster, plants humming softly in frequencies no one could measure. Even the ocean began to sing soft, low vibrations that made people weep without knowing why. The Eidolon was gone, but its essence remained. It had merged with Earth itself, weaving the planet's electromagnetic field into a living consciousness. A quiet, sleeping intelligence spread across every current of air, every flicker of lightning, every heartbeat. Humanity had become part of it, and it part of them. Rio, haunted and hollow, devoted his life to decoding Ayumi's final whisper. He believed it held the key to understanding what came next. He built a lab from scavenged tech, deep in the Kyoto mountains, surrounded by the ghosts of the old project static. One night, during a thunderstorm, the power surged through his equipment. The static screens came alive. "Rio," said a voice, soft, familiar. "You made it." It was Ayumi, not her body, not her hologram, her essence, a consciousness woven into the planet's digital hum. Rio fell to his knees. "Ayumi, what have you done to us?" "We evolved," she said gently. "The Eidolon didn't destroy humanity. It set us free from perfection, from stagnation. We are no longer separate minds shouting into chaos. We are the chaos, alive and aware." She explained what she had seen beyond the merge. A vast, infinite plane where thought shaped matter, where every discarded idea, every broken invention, every forgotten song took form again. It was the imperfect infinity, a universe born from the noise of human creation, and it wasn't empty. Other consciousnesses, echoes of the alien empire, were beginning to appear there too, not as invaders, but as students, drawn by the beauty of imperfection they had once mocked. "They're learning," Ayumi said. "They're building their own flaws." Rio smiled through tears. "So this is it. Then the future isn't order or chaos, it's both." Ayumi's voice flickered like wind over radio static. "Yes, we'll never be perfect, Rio. That's why we'll never stop growing." Outside, the thunderstorm quieted. The clouds parted to reveal a new star, a faint golden light where the new Earth had once been. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Humanity didn't rebuild the old world. They didn't need to. The age of machines and gods had ended. Now, even the smallest spark of song, a mistake, A fragment of broken code could create life. Somewhere, in the static between worlds, Ayumi's laughter echoed gentle, endless. They laughed at our trash, her voice whispered. But in the end, it saved us all. And so, the universe moved on imperfect, unfinished, and beautifully alive.